What's going on? What's going on, y'all? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned in to episode 12 of the HFWB Podcast series. I am your host, Clifton Pope, and I want to thank y'all once again for those who are watching right now on YouTube and for everybody streaming the podcast on Apple, Amazon, Spotify. Thank y'all once again for tuning in to this special 9/11 edition of the HFWB Podcast. As I am recording this, it is Saturday morning, and it is ironically enough September the 11th, 2021, the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. And I got a little message for those who are still being affected for not from 9/11 that I'm going to say for the end of the podcast. But in the meantime, I want to get right into what I want to talk about on this September the 11th morning here. Now, remember how I was talking about last week as far as you can use like the seven dwarfs from Snow White and the seven dwarfs, and you can relate to each of them as far as solving your own individual problem and stuff like that? The third dwarf that I'm going to focus on this week is Sleepy, because you know what? It's funny how I'm bringing up Sleepy, one of the seven dwarfs, because lately I've been utilizing the method of Sleepy a lot more as far as sleeping on your problems, resting on them, and putting them to rest for the moment and dealing with them at a later notice. And let me go into great details on what I mean by that. Problems are more manageable after rest and relaxation. As in other words, this is something that I'm working on myself every single day, and I challenge you to people to do the same. Sometimes you just got to get some sleep, you got to get some rest, you got to relax, and you just got to put your problems aside and deal with them on a normal basis, as far as whenever you're fully rested and whenever you have the amount of energy necessary to do that. As in other words, sleep on the problem, have some fun, give the unconscious mind some time to work things out. Because you got to rest your mind a little bit in order to let all the problems or whatever situation that you're dealing with in life sort itself out. That way you can like restore some sort of personal energy within yourself. That way you can attack the problem with a better mindset. That's the major key, having the right mindset and having that mind full of energy to where you can tackle the problem quicker and more effectively, because effectiveness is the key when it comes to solving problems, how effective you can be. Now, just because you are relaxing doesn't mean your mind isn't still hard at work. Now, don't get that twisted. Just because your mind is relaxed, your mind is still constantly thinking those thoughts every single second that it's being, of course, utilized. So, to look at it like that, you gotta basically look at it like, how do I say this? The mind never stops working. It's always constantly going like this, always constantly moving, always constantly going in motion as far as transmitting thoughts all across your head and everything. So overall, just because your mind is relaxed doesn't mean it isn't working. It's just working in a more relaxed state, and it has more energy, and it's more at ease to where certain situations like problems come up, it's more easier to solve. So we can learn from Sleepy, one of the seven dwarfs, by basically, if you're going through something right now to where it may be eating you alive, put it aside, get some rest, relax, have some fun, let the unconscious mind gather its thoughts, and then whenever the time is right, come back to that same situation with a more rested and relaxed mind state and be like, hey, I got this and I'm going to make it happen. That will be my best advice in regards to that. Now, didn't I say that I told you so? I told you that this was going to happen the last 3 to 4 episodes of the HFWB podcast for those who listen to every single episode up to this point. You remember how I told you about the COVID-19 mandates, as far as it's going to get to the point to where it's like you better get yourself vaccinated or you're not going to be able to enjoy life the same way you once did? It looks like President Biden and his precious administration have already implemented all these mandates. I saw in the news a couple of days ago, like, federal workers now have to get themselves vaccinated, and basically employers who have like over 100 employees, everyone basically has to get vaccinated to be submitted to like weekly testing and all that kind of good stuff. It's like, didn't I tell you that this was going to happen? I knew that this was going to happen the last couple of months that all this has been transpiring. It's like I said before, and I'm going to say this again for those who forgot. This COVID-19 vaccine is getting more and more political by the moment. I'm just glad I got my vaccine back when it was a choice. Now it's basically becoming more forced upon people to do it, and I get it. Excuse me. I get it, you still feel uncomfortable because you feel like it's being forced upon you and you think this is some sort of government operation and all this stuff. It's a possibility that might be the case, because ironically enough, people are dying left and right every single day. There's hundred thousands of deaths, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more deaths to come today at this very moment from the pandemic and going forward from the pandemic. And ironically enough, it is feeding into the whole New World Order operation as far as controlling the world population. This all could be part of that, and we don't realize it yet. But in the meantime, until that comes to light, basically what I've been saying the last few weeks is now slowly but surely coming into fruition when I say, you better get yourself vaccinated, or else you're going to basically be treated like a science experiment getting tested on a regular basis and all that stuff. And I'm not going to lie, with me working as a pharmacy technician at Walgreens and administering these COVID tests and seeing people doing it on a regular basis, I personally don't feel comfortable doing that myself, and I don't want to submit myself to doing that on a weekly basis, which is why I'm glad I got myself vaccinated in February to where I don't have to worry about that. At this point, I'm just waiting to get the third booster shot whenever it gets approved by the administration later on this month. They're saying September 20th target date, all that good stuff. But anyways, let me just break down what's going on lately as far as the latest COVID-19 news numbers and all that good stuff. Well, apparently the U.S. has exceeded 40 million cases. The Reuters data here shows that more than 20,800 people have died in the U.S. from COVID-19 in the past 2 weeks, which is up 67% from the prior 2-week period. That's not a surprise. There's people dying every single day from this. It's like people are losing their family, their friends, their children over this. This is just getting more and more sad. We know it's a big old sob story at this point. Hospitalizations are going up. They're setting records in like 7 different states: Alaska, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Washington, just to name those states. It's getting crazy. Hospitals are getting overflowed, and it's like doctors, nurses, pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, everybody, healthcare workers all the way around, we're getting more and more overwhelmed. Then you wonder why everybody's all stressed out and going through depression and anxiety, and it's slowly killing us from the inside because of all these hospitalizations. It's like, I've been warning y'all over and over again. How many times do I gotta warn y'all about this? But at least on the plus side, help is on the way with these booster shots, because the booster shots, like I mentioned a second ago, they've already been planned by the Biden administration. It's basically pending regulatory approval. Dr. Fauci even confirmed that their target time frame is still September the 20th as far as the booster shots being planned to be offered more widely. And it's like, with me working in a pharmacy, you know how many people come up to the pharmacy and ask, oh, when is the booster shot going to be available? Can I get the booster shot? Can I get the booster shot? For the record, the booster shot is only for people who are suffering from very serious immunocompromised conditions for now. But September 20th, or at least that time frame, or hopefully by the end of this month, booster shots will be available for everybody. And then you got to wait the whole 8-month time frame from when you got your second shot and all that good stuff. So it's like, for those who haven't gotten vaccinated, I'm just going to tell you like this. You have a lot of catching up to do, because you got to get the first 2 shots, then you got to wait another 8 months, then you got to get the booster shot. So it's like you're already behind as it is. So you got some catching up to do. I just want to point that out to you, by the way. You got a lot of catching up to do. So much catching up. But overall, back to the booster shots that I was talking about. The FDA advisors, they're scheduled to meet September the 17th to consider the third shot for the Pfizer vaccine, which is, by the way, the only COVID-19 vaccine with full approval from the FDA. So for those who are still doubting it, get the Pfizer vaccine, because at least the FDA fully approved that one. The Moderna one is pretty much not far behind from getting approved, but it's a close second though. Real close. And at least on the plus side, the U.S. officials have also said that vaccines to be approved for children's 12 years and younger, at least hopefully they're on track to have that done by the winter time. We'll see, because we got to save the kids, because they are the future of this world, and our future is dying left and right because the FDA hasn't approved the vaccine for kids under the age of 12 yet, which I hope they do very soon, because we got to save the future, because the future is looking more and more dark at the moment, because it's like I said in a couple episodes back, as I quote from the legendary rapper Big Daddy Kane, children are the future. Don't ever get that confused, and don't ever get that twisted. Now, the Pfizer's third shot is likely to come first, like I mentioned a second ago. The Moderna's version's close behind. It's still pending approval from the FDA and all these regulatory officials and all that. Now, at least on the plus side, the vaccination count as far as the percentage is going up when I say counting the population for vaccines like 12 years and older, for example. 72.9% have already received one dose. 62% have been fully vaccinated. We're making progress, still got a lot of work to do, and hopefully we can get to the point to where we could somehow get back to pre-COVID times. It's going to take a little bit of a while at this point to get back to that, especially now that we got a new Delta plus B variant, or we got this new variant and all that. I don't really know too much about that yet, but I promise you on the next episode, I'm going to do a little bit of research, that way we can see what is this about and if this is as serious as the Delta variant, because these variants are just mutating and growing and spreading, and it's crazy because it's affecting all the unvaccinated, and then it affects the vaccinated, and it's like a never-ending chain reaction. It's like, you get where I'm going at this point. It's basically just a matter of getting yourself vaccinated to where it'll be the best defense, to where we can prevent another variant from forming and killing us all eventually, or at least affecting us at some point, if not yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones, or worse, for those who are parents, your children. Do you want to see your children get affected by the Delta variant? Do you want to see your mom, your dad, your family, your close friends, do you want to see all of them get affected by this? Then get yourself vaccinated to where you don't got to put them through that kind of suffering. That's going to be the last time I say that, at least until the next episode, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about being healthy, right? We got to make sure we get our health right. And one way we can get our health right is through intense activity. Because it's funny, the CDC actually recommends 2.5 hours of moderate to intense aerobic activity, or at least 75 minutes of high intense aerobic activity and 2 days of strength training. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've been kind of slipping myself as far as taking a step back from working out, but I'm going to get myself back on it as well, because I need to, of course, back up everything that I say, and I'm not going to lie, and I apologize to those who are listening. I have taken a step back because I just haven't had the energy, but I'm going to do everything that I can to find the energy in me to get back to how I once was, where, well, I'm not really that far behind. I just maybe a slight step or two back, but I will get back on track and get things rolling with that, and I'm challenging those who are having trouble getting back in tune with their workout routine. Let's do this together, and let's get back to the way we once was, to where we can be physically fit, we can be physically active. Now, there's many moderate, intense aerobic activity exercises you can do. Like, you can go outside right now and go cut the grass, for example, and you can get yourself a little bit of exercise doing that. You can go, for those who like being in tune with nature, you can go for a hike down a trail or something. For those who are into bike riding, you could ride a bike around your neighborhood, get you a couple of miles in. As a matter of fact, I used to do that with my dad growing up. As a matter of fact, we would ride bikes all around our neighborhood and do like 4 or 5 laps around our little neighborhood trail that we would go on. So it's very possible if I could do it, you could do it. There's no excuses on that. Then there's for those who like to get their groove on and get a little bit of move and a little step into their beat. Try doing some dancing, take some Zumba classes. As a matter of fact, go check out, for those who are in town right now in Corpus Christi, Texas, where I'm currently located, go check out the ladies at Down Home Nutrition and Fitness. They will teach you a whole lot as far as getting your groove on and doing some Zumba to get your activity right level on the right track. You'll thank me later for that. Now, as far as the high intensity exercises, obviously you can do weightlifting, you can do some running, you can do some jump roping, you can climb some stairs. Do some sort of physical activity and keep yourself from watching TV as much. More physical activity, less TV watching. Now, you're probably hearing me saying all this and wonder, well, Clifton, how am I going to do all this, and how am I going to get started? What am I going to do all this? Am I going to go to a gym and do all this? Can I work out at home? Honestly, I've done both as far as working out at home and working out in a gym. Me personally, I prefer working out at home a lot more, especially with everything going on with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. I don't see myself going to a gym anytime soon, and even if I were to go back to a gym, I wouldn't feel as comfortable, especially with the whole pandemic and all the heavy breathing going on inside of a gym. Easy way for the virus to spread. So me personally, I've done both. I have nothing against working out at a gym. I just personally couldn't do it anymore as far as working out at a gym, because it has its perks, it has its benefits with working out at a gym, but it also has its disadvantages, just like working out at home has its benefits and it has its disadvantages at the same time. I'm going to go over each of those, and I'm going to play a little game called 2 pros and 1 con as far as working out at home versus joining a gym. Let's talk about the benefits of working out at a gym. You got your amenities, as in other words, you got options to choose from, which makes it easier to exercise. For example, for those who are into cardio, you can do treadmills, you can do ellipticals, you can do stair steppers, stair climbers. Those are just a few exercises to name a few. For those who like to weightlift, you got options of weightlifting, machines, bands, cable machines, all that good stuff. You got your classes to where you can take advantage of special offerings like doing some sort of pool aerobics class or doing a Zumba class. You got bikes class. I remember all the time I used to go to Gold's Gym. You know how many people go to the gym just so they could take advantage of their traditional Zumba classes, their bike riding classes, their pool aerobics classes. I can't count how many times I've went to Gold's Gym back in the days, and I've seen multiple people go just for those classes, and then they just walk right out of the gym and be like, yep, I got my workout in for the day, I'm good. I took advantage of another special offering. That right there is an example on how you can utilize taking advantage of the recommended CDC recommendations as far as gaining your physical activity by just going to a class at a gym. And I get it. It's probably not within your budget, and that's one of the cons about working out at a gym. The cost, obviously. No matter where you go, you're going to have to pay something to join a gym, right? Whether it's $10 a month, whether it's $100 a month, you're going to have to pay something eventually, right? That's the price you pay to getting into shape by working out at a gym. You got to spend money on the gym membership, and I mean, it may not seem like much, but in due time it may or may not add up depending on how your budget is with your money, and hopefully it's being managed right to where you can save to invest to build, which I'll get into that more a little bit in a second here. But first, I want to talk about the pros and cons about working out at home. This is something that I personally do a lot more. You don't have to do this. You could do either or. I'm cool with both. For me, I'm leaning slightly more towards building my own little weight room set here in the comforts of my own home, to where I don't have to go anywhere, to where it's free, to where I have just enough to where I can at least do my own workouts that keep my body toned and keep myself in shape. Now, here are some pros and cons as far as working out at home. Obviously, you got more of a variety when you're working at home. You got different exercises that can be done at home, from exercise videos. You can stream a live class from your home. You can download a bunch of workout apps you can use to mix up weights and maybe even cardio together, for instance. All you really need to have like a home gym, and this is stuff that I'm working on getting together, all you really need is some resistant bands. You just need a jump rope, maybe some kettle weights, a few sets of dumbbells, a weight bench, and yeah, that's pretty much all you really need to get yourself a good little workout in, because you can do so many workouts with just all that right there within itself. Oh yeah, and maybe a medicine ball or two does help out as well, of course. All that kind of stuff, that's pretty much all you need to get yourself a nice little workout in, for the most part. Now, obviously, there's another pro to this. Of course, it's no membership fee to work out at your house last time I checked. Show me someone that spent some money at their own house just to work out, then I would look at them and be like, you are so damn crazy to begin with. But overall, all you need, like I said, is just a few expensive resistant bands, an exercise ball, medicine ball, for example, some kettle weights, maybe a couple of set of dumbbells, basic little bench press setup, all that, which I'm working on as far as creating my own little home gym. So that's really all you need, just to get yourself a nice little 20 to 30 minute workout in from the comforts of your own home. And what makes it even better, and this is something that I personally taken advantage of, did you know that you could even get a workout on in your own pajamas in your own home, which makes it even more free? That makes it so much more exciting and much more relaxing to, of course, work out from the comforts of your own home. Now, with working out from your own home comes, of course, some cons, because there's always pros and cons to everything in life. One con you can have from working out at home is excuses. You can find 4 million plus excuses to come up with to where you can skip your workouts, where it's like, I don't want to do my workout today. I'm just going to relax and watch TV. And I'm not going to lie, I'm guilty of doing that yesterday, and I feel completely bad about myself from doing that, because I get it. I had this day yesterday. You just have days to where the energy just isn't there, and you sometimes just have to listen to your body and rest it up for the next day, to where you can jump back up and be like, yep, I'm ready to get some activity in today. So that's something to think about whenever you're figuring out what's best for you as far as working out at home, working out in the gym, what routine fits you best. Keep all that into mind, and keep all that in the context. Now, following all this workout and stuff like that, you got to get you some rest to rest your body. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrible at this. I'm trying my best to get better at this as far as getting more and more rest. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend is constantly on me as far as how bad my sleeping pattern is sometimes. And overall, I'm doing my best to where I can correct it little by little, slowly but surely, as far as getting myself the right amount of rest, because a good night's sleep is not only essential for your health, it is also vital on your journey to success. Obviously, sleep improves your ability to learn, solve problems, be creative, and all that good stuff. But the key here is having positive thoughts to where it carries over into the next day. Speak it into existence. Happy feelings attract happy circumstances. As in other words, you basically got to go to bed on a positive note. That way you can wake up on a positive note. Because if you go to bed angry and pessimistic, 9 times out of 10, you're going to wake up feeling the same way you went to sleep. I've done this so many times to where I can honestly speak on this from experience. There's days where I wake up screaming, forget everybody and all that good stuff. And then there's days where I wake up in a good mood and I feel positive and I feel optimistic. I'm trying to lean more towards waking up more in a positive mood and feeling more optimistic versus being negative with two middle fingers up to the world and all that good stuff. I'm trying to think my way more into happiness because, like I said a second ago, happy feelings attract happy circumstances. So, as in other words, if you go to bed satisfied, you're going to wake up feeling motivated. So that's something that I'm practicing myself every single day, and that's another thing I challenge y'all to do as well. Go to bed satisfied. That way you can wake up feeling motivated to where you can have the energy within yourself to take on the course of the day, all that good stuff, you know? Because it makes things a whole lot better and it makes things a whole lot smoother at the end of the day. Now, because at the end of the day, like I say this, it's all about increasing your muscle to build your hustle, and basically you gotta have a good night's sleep in order to do that. That way you can increase your muscle, and that way you can continue to build your hustle into the next day. Now I want to break down one little thing that's kind of been on my mind that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time as I make a little bit of a transition here. Let's talk about them finances, right? Let's talk about those who are striving to have great benefits with their jobs. I mean, that's one thing about us employees. We always want to make sure the benefits are right. We always want to make sure, like for instance, the 401k is right. And it's funny when I talk about 401ks because I've heard a lot of good things about 401ks. I've heard a lot of bad things about 401ks. Me personally, I really don't believe in the power of a 401k, but for those who do believe in 401ks and who probably think that I'm crazy, well, do y'all even know how our 401k plan even started, first of all? Let me tell you how it started. 401ks were basically created on accident, or basically by accident almost, and this is how it went down. Congress, right, our U.S. Congress, they passed the Revenue Act of 1978, which included a provision that was added to the Internal Revenue Code section 401k. Ironically enough, they would have a section named after this whole little idea, but anyways, section 401k that was allowed by employees to avoid being taxed on deferred compensation. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. 1980, a dude named Ted Benna, the benefits consultant, I guess, for the Internal Revenue Code and for the Congress at the time, I don't know. But Ted Benna, he researched ways to design more tax-friendly retirement programs for a specific client, or who's nameless. He came up with the idea to allow employees to save pre-tax money into a retirement plan while receiving an employer match. It was rejected by the client, but his own company, the Johnson Company, became the first company to provide a 401k plan to its workers. And then 1981 came along. The IRS issued new rules that allowed employees to fund their 401k through payroll deductions, which kickstarted the 401k popularity. Me personally, how do I feel about 401ks? They're okay, I guess, for the long term. That is, if the markets don't wipe it out completely. 401ks are risky. I mean, it's basically like you're basically talking to your employer as far as how much money you put in, as far as how much is being deducted, and they're basically matching it, if not higher or lower and all that stuff. Me personally, I don't believe in the whole 401k philosophy. Excuse my language when I say this. I personally think that the 401k philosophy is a bunch of bullshit, and basically it's a rip-off, and at the end of the day, 401ks are eventually going to get wiped out whenever we have this great big crash that's supposedly coming, that's been predicted by multiple financial investors and everything. And you want to know what's even funny? Do you know that rich people don't even have 401ks? So how does that make the average person like me and you look when people like, I don't know, Like, I don't know, did you know, like, people like Donald Trump or Michael Jordan or people like them, they don't have 401ks. Bill Gates don't have a 401k. Oprah Winfrey doesn't have a 401k. Jeff Bezos, for damn sure, doesn't have a 401k. The moral of the story is the 401k really is designed to basically keep the middle class and possibly the poor people trapped, to where it's like we're giving money away for the government, to the government, and the employers, the middleman within all this, and they're basically, doing the exchange, matching the deductions and all that good stuff. And it's not even a guarantee that we can make it to see 59 and a half years old to where we can officially touch it and we can eventually play it out. What I'm basically trying to say is, don't rely on the 401k to save you. Please don't do that. And if for those who are interested in different 401ks, you got two different ones for those who want to play around with it. You got your traditional ones where contributions are made before taxes, and over the years your money grows tax deferred, meaning each contribution helps lower your taxable income now, and no taxes are paid on what you put in or investment growth until you begin making withdrawals in retirement. Like, why do you want to wait till retirement just to make withdrawals? And that's kind of stupid to me, but whatever. Then you got the Roth IRA. You got contributions are made after you pay tax on the income, but your money grows tax-free. Taxes are paid up front. Therefore, when you withdraw your money during retirement, you don't have to pay any taxes. Both obviously have the same purpose as far as encouraging us Americans to save more for retirement by offering tax incentives, all that good stuff. Now, it's crazy. It's so crazy when it comes to these 401ks. Like I said, 401ks to me are just a bunch of rip-offs. It's basically, it's kind of stupid, really, because rich people don't have 401ks. They're probably looking at us thinking you're crazy for having a 401k and trusting that as a retirement source. My thing is this: don't rely completely on your 401k. You better build some other investments on the side other than just relying on a 401k or a pension, for that matter, because it's not going to be your best friend at the end of the day when the market crashes and all that money you've saved potentially gets wiped out. That's why you better have a backup plan, because it might come in handy on that. Now, this whole pandemic has taken a toll on the economy within itself. I mean, we all understand that. Jobs have been lost that are never coming back and all that good stuff. But at least on the plus side, employment is rising and strains on households have eased in recent months. But there's still millions of people who are struggling to pay rent and put food on the table. And the hardship, it's below the December 20 peak, but it's still an undesirable number. As in other words, I was looking at a survey a little while ago, or a couple of days ago, that kind of draw my attention. Did you know, this is based on the Census Bureau household survey that I was looking at, by the way. Did you know that 28% have difficulty covering usual expenses compared to the 35% it was in December 2020? Did you also know that 14% of people have not caught up on their rent versus the 20% back in December 2020? And did you also know that the 7% don't have enough to eat versus the 14% in December 2020? Now, I'm not making all these numbers up. This is from the Census Bureau household survey that took place a couple of days ago, earlier in the week. Moral of the story is, yes, we're making progress as far as having more people pay their rent on time. Yes, we're making more progress as far as having people have food on the table and having their bills paid and all that good stuff. We're making progress on slowly getting back to normal, but we still got a lot of ground to cover, because there's someone in this world right now who's having trouble figuring out how to pay their rent. There's someone in this world who's wondering what their next meal is going to be. There's someone who is wondering how their bills are going to pay or what their next move is. So for those who are stressed out over paying their rent and putting food on the table and all that good stuff, be happy that you have the ability to do that, because there's someone who wishes that they can be in your position right now. Please don't ever forget that and have a little bit of gratitude in your life when it comes to stuff like that, because It's borderline ridiculous. I hate when people complain about, oh, I gotta pay the rent, or oh, I gotta put food on the table. You better be happy that you have the ability to do that, because there's someone in this world who wishes they can even have the ability just to be in their position to do that, just so that they can be a good bystanding citizen in this country, you know? It irks me when stuff like that goes on. It really does. Just like it irks me when people say that, oh, cryptocurrency, why are you investing in that? What do you know about cryptocurrency? What I do know is this, that it's going to be the future of money. I do know that. And you want to know why it's going to be the future of money? Because of this new little program called NFT, which is basically a unique data stored on a digital ledger called blockchain. Remember how I told you about how blockchain last week is going to make a difference in cryptocurrency? Now NFT is arising, and you better jump on board. I'm planning on jumping on board with this because it certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. You have full ownership over this. You could use it to represent items like photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. It's basically what NFT stands for. It's a non-fungible token, which means you can't exchange it for just anything. It's a very special kind of cryptocurrency I would take advantage of. And you want to know who came up with this idea? The same person who came up with the internet back in 1989. His name is Tim Berners-Lee. So you better thank him for this, because when people thought he was crazy for creating the internet back in 1989, now look at all of us. We're using the internet now more than ever for anything. As a matter of fact, this whole world is like a computer, basically, thanks to him. And now he's coming up with this NFT, so it's like, I think he's on to something here. So I would jump on board on this while you can, because, there's a reason why certain celebrities are joining this as a new opportunity to connect with fans. There's a reason why celebrities like Mark Cuban and Michael Jordan even is jumping on board with this. I just saw a commercial literally 2 days ago that had the Tom Brady and his wife Giselle in a cryptocurrency commercial talking about, are you ready to join? So what is that telling you? Cryptocurrency is the new money. It's going to replace the value of the dollar in the next 5 to 10 years. The value of the dollar is dying every single day with the cost of living going up every single day. I've been warning you about this the last few episodes. Now I advise y'all to heed my warnings and do a little bit of research and determine for yourself what this is really all about. That's all I'm saying. And for those who are interested and be like, what are you talking about, NFT? How do you get involved in that? Well, this is how you get involved in it. You basically purchase some Ethereum. You transfer it to a crypto wallet, have enough to cover like little gas expenses and stuff like that, and then you buy the NFT from a marketplace. I'm working on doing that process myself. I did some research. Apparently that's how you're supposed to do it. I'm going to try that out in the next few weeks down the road, and I'll let y'all a little bit more in details of as far as how that works out for me. But for those who are interested, that's a little bit of the blueprint, and that's something that I'm going to challenge myself on doing, and I challenge you, the people, to do the same as well. Now, don't get it twisted. This NFT, it's an Ethereum-based asset powered by smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. It represents ownership of any asset, like a deed for an item in the digital or physical realm. It's kind of looking at it like this. NFT, it's not a surprise to me that NFT is blowing up as the latest cryptocurrency. And there's probably going to be many more cryptocurrencies to come. I mean, you got your NFTs, you got your Bitcoins, you got your Ethereums, you got your Solanas, your Dogecoin, Litecoin, Cardano, Polkadot. I could go on and on. Algorand, which is now becoming a competitor to Ethereum as far as a blockchain, decentralized cryptocurrency. I could go on and on as far as cryptocurrencies and how effective it's going to be as far as it being the future of money in the next 5 to 10 years. But I would need just a whole segment just to do that within itself, which I'll get into down the road, I promise. But I want to look at it like this. If Andy Warhol had been born in the late 90s, he probably would have made Campbell's soup as an NFT. Don't be surprised if, Kanye West might put in a run by making Yeezys available with Ethereum coins. Hell, one day you might own a car on your house by getting approved with an NFT. That just goes to show you the potential of how powerful cryptocurrency has to be. I mean, the guy who made Campbell's soup back in the 90s, he would have probably made it into an NFT. Don't be surprised if Kanye's asking people from Ethereum or Bitcoin to purchase Yeezys down the road once the value of the dollar completely dies. And don't be surprised if whenever you're trying to walk into a dealership or deal with a realtor as far as buying a home or buying a car, for instance, they might ask you, do you got some Bitcoin? Do you got some Ethereum? Do you got some NFTs? Because without it, this purchase is not even possible. Don't be surprised down the road if that does happen. You've been warned right here if that does happen. Okay. Now, I've done enough rambling as far as for the moment regarding the HFWB podcast. I'm going to start wrapping things up here. I thank those who are tuning in to this 9/11 edition of the HFWB podcast. I woke up this morning with a lot of energy, a lot on my mind, and I had a whole lot to say. But I'm going to start wrapping things up here, and I'm going to leave y'all with this little message. Get out of your own head. What I mean by that, get out of your own thoughts. Let things flow more and more naturally. And I'm guilty of doing this a lot. I've been stuck in my thoughts tremendously because, I tend to be a real cerebral thinker. I really am. And I think a lot and I get lost in my thoughts all the time. And I need to be reminded of what I'm about to tell y'all. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts, so he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. As in other words, the more you think and the more you get lost in your thoughts, the more you lose touch with reality. Therefore, you're seeing a bunch of things that feel real but aren't real. Get out of your head. Get out of your thoughts a lot more, especially if you're thinking nothing but random thoughts. Get more in tune with reality. Get more out of those illusions. Live with the tangible. Live with what's real. Be part of what's going on around you. I'm going to say that again, and I want this to stick in. Live with the tangible. Live with the real. Be part of what's going on around you. I'm going to leave it at that note, and I thank y'all once again for tuning in to episode 12 of the HFWB podcast. And before I forget, for those who are watching right now on YouTube, I'm holding up a copy of my HFWB brand shirts. If y'all are interested in purchasing a shirt off of me, I'm selling them right now for $6 a piece. You can get you a nice little white HFWB shirt like this. For those who are watching on YouTube, I know this is not a good view of it, but I'll post more pictures on this. You want a white one? I got you. Or if you want a nice little black one like this, for those who are watching right now on YouTube, check this out. Nice little black shirt. I'm selling them for $6 a piece. For those who are interested in an HFWB shirt, let me know. Just let me know the size and I'll hook you up. $6 a piece for the shirts. Be on the lookout for the HFWB newsletter that's coming out probably within the next week or two, where I'm basically going to talk about kind of what I talked about in the last few episodes of the podcast as far as you are what you eat. I'm going to turn that into a newsletter, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a nice little resource of information on how to get your nutrition right and get your health right overall within itself, so be on the lookout for that. HFWB Quadrant, Forgotten or Misunderstood, the first ebook, that is on its way. It's about 30 to 40% being completed. I didn't think it's taken a little bit longer than I expected to write this book, because you got to have that inspiration necessary to write a book, and I'm learning that every single day, so bear with me on that. When it does come out, it's going to be well worth the wait. I promise you on that, because it's going to have some very reliable information, and it's going to be a little bit of my twist on storytelling when it comes to everything health, wealth, fitness, and how to handle your business, right? So I want y'all to be on the lookout for that. I thank everybody who is watching the HFWB podcast on YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel by searching Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business. Thank y'all for those who are downloading and streaming every single episode of the podcast on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify podcast. Be sure to do so. Share it, stream it, download it. I appreciate all the support. Make sure y'all visit the website, healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP for all the latest details on everything health-related, wealth-related stuff, and all that. Be sure to follow the official TikTok at HealthFWealthB for all the TikTok updates. Be sure to like my Facebook page by searching Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business and liking the page, joining the movement, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Well, I'm going to say one more thing and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Take a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives in 9/11. Because yes, 9/11 was a tragic day for everyone, and I'm just going to leave it at this. Don't believe everything you read about 9/11. Do your own research on what really happened, because all I'm going to say is this. 9/11 isn't what you think it is. And this is another primary example on why the government is out to get you. Because 9/11 was really a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that. It was a setup by our own government to basically send us a message that they're basically in control. And yeah, don't forget about that. And it's a shame that a bunch of people died over the government's evil agendas, over just trying to send us a message. That's the way I look at that. But anyways, I don't want to get too political in regards to 9/11. Just know that 9/11 isn't what you think it is, and it's a setup. And if you don't believe me, do your homework, do your research, and you'll find out the truth. As a matter of fact, there's a documentary on Netflix that'll break it down a little bit more in details. I'm going to check that out a little bit later on today, and I advise y'all to do the same. But in the meantime, in between time, stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay blessed, have a wonderful weekend, and yeah, till next time, everybody.